Jeff, I will take over tonight. No, man, I will be okay. I will be okay. No, man, you don't look well tonight. I will take over tonight the show. You see, this guy here, he's not okay. He's got a problem with his teeth. He's got a toothache. So I want to volunteer tonight to take over the show. No, man, I'll be okay, man. I've got some meds to really sort it. No, 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 no. I'm going to help you tonight. Yeah. Nevertheless, thanks, Wally. Let's do it together tonight. Okay. Yeah, but you must tell me if you're not okay. I will take over. He's so eager to take over the show. So let's see how it goes tonight. If my throat and my tooth ache takes over, Wally must really then assist me if I'm not coping very well. Thanks, Wally. How are you all doing? Trust you had a good week, so welcome here on board tonight, and let's have a good time together tonight, because this is your opportunity here tonight to catch up, because last week we had a bit of a problem with the internet. So tonight it's going to be all okay. It's all going to be... No, it's not going to be okay, because Jeff has got a toothache. I promise I'm going to be okay. I will be okay. Everything will be okay tonight here. So let's start with what we can expect here tonight. And so welcome everybody on board here. Good to have you all on board, all the regulars and some new faces perhaps. Welcome here. Let's just sit back, enjoy, and as I always say, relax, reflect, and just reset tonight. Because tonight is a very important topic that I would like to tackle to help you to deal with something very, very relevant in your life. Dealing with reaction, overreaction. That sense of taking things way too personal. When people take you on, when people criticize you, mock you, tease you, when people try to undermine your integrity, question your effectiveness, your competency at the workplace, or even on social media when people criticize you. Those kind of challenges that I would like to face here tonight. Body shaming. Or maybe in the workplace when your manager is just giving you some hard time in terms of your best is never good enough, and there's a kind of a gaslighting scenario at the workplace where they try to make you doubt yourself. Those are the things that I would like to work on tonight. Those of you who are struggling with issues like I'm way too oversensitive, I take things just too personal, and when I take things too personal, it hurts. People's opinions matter a lot. I get hurt so easily, and I'm so sensitive of what people might say about my appearance, about my competency, because lately I've been struggling with my competency, with my effectiveness. So I'm trying my best, but I'm so sensitive. So I can easily be triggered in that area. And this is what I would like to focus on tonight, to really help you see if we can get some guidelines to help you in this process, to really make the best of your life. Because when we take things too personal, it can ruin a large portion of our day. When we sit and ruminate about what that other person just said now, the way the person came across, attacking me, perceived as a personal attack, and now what happens, I feel hurt, I feel offended. So part of this topic here tonight is to focus on offense. When we take offense, and then that other person managed to stay rent-free in our minds. And that's the big challenge here tonight that we're going to focus on. So Let me do it tonight and let's see how far we can get. And I don't think the help of Wally will for now be needed, but we never know how the show goes on. Maybe his help will be appreciated. I will call him in later on if necessary. So, you know the drill. Please comment below. You are welcome to comment below. I want you to participate here. If you relate to certain aspects of this topic, please comment below. Ask questions if there's any questions. Give your opinion, which matters a lot here. That will also give me some idea of the direction that we are going into. And for those of you who are interested still to join my retreat, the mindfulness retreat, please comment below and also send me perhaps your WhatsApp number so I can add you on to the list. You can WhatsApp me. You know my WhatsApp number. I think all of you know it. 0822558344. So I can add you on to the list so that you can know when the next weekend breakaway is about to come. So I want you to really to join us. So the first 20 people, they will be able to join us on the weekend breakaway. And then also remember, I've got an online shop with all the nice books. There's now currently 5 of my books available in the bookshop. So you can order there online and the courier guy will drop it at your doorstep. And also the subscription of 89 Rand a month is there for you with all the many, many podcasts available at your fingertips. So that's what it's all about. That's now we're done with all the advertisements. So let's carry on with what we are busy here at this moment. The big issue why we are tonight. From reaction to resilience. Handling criticism without losing yourself. That's what we're going to focus on tonight. The big issue that many of us are taking things too personal. We are then in retaliation. We are then in reaction. Our emotions go into motion and we feel the feeling. And tonight, we can talk easily about how things must be handled, but it doesn't necessarily take away the feeling. So it's more about than just about information that I want to share with you tonight. I want to try to dig into the soul tonight, to get more into the detail of the issues, why it's so difficult for us to distance ourselves from other people who's trying to get rent-free in our mind. Even when the person flickers light from behind you, or a person gets offended because you took their parking space, you pushed your trolley in front of them in the queue, and now the person is offended. And you are in total utter shock because that was not your intention. Your intention is to avoid conflict. Your intention is just to be nice. You just want to be a nice person, but people don't perceive you as being nice. That's what we are here for. You see, we need to understand the root of this problem. Welcome, everybody who just turned in now. Welcome. Let's look at the root, understand the root, and back to the basics of the formula, namely to understand your limiting beliefs behind your hypersensitivity. That needs to be exposed. You need to journal on it. You need to journal about these hypersensitive beliefs that you are still clinging onto, which is causing the emotions. Because when a person overreacts to criticism or aggressive questioning, like in a debate, it's really, really very, very seldom about the present moment. Remember, I always say emotions are a record of the past. It's a memory replay going on. When you take offense, it's not really about what's happening now. It's a memory replay deeply rooted in your emotional conditioning, the loop, the emotional regurgitation that is taking place, the loop between the past and the future that's now busy manifesting here because emotions are a record of the past. It's part of the programming. We've been programmed here, and it's so important to identify this program, to be aware of this emotional conditioning that's been taking place since childhood, and now we are now 40s, now 50s perhaps, and the program is still running in the background and gets activated by trigger events. So let's have a look at these belief systems. And here's the first belief system that many of us are still clinging onto on this very day. My worth depends on how others see me. I see others, I see myself through the lenses of other people. Therefore, if I'm not liked, validated, or praised, I am not good enough. Based on their evaluation of me, it therefore must be true, because that's what other people see about me, so there must be some valid points in it, so I take it serious. And this eventually leads to our approval addiction. Another addiction that you've never heard of, eh? Approval addict. A fragile identity based on external validation. And how far will some people go? How far will some people take it for external validation? Like perfectionism, overperformance, burning yourself out, and denying our own needs. Because the belief system, the program that runs at the background, is my worth depends on how others see me. You see it? You're going to have to identify it. If it's you, say ouch, say I know, whatever you want to say there on the comments below, because now you can say this is me. My worth depends on how others see me, and I am still trapped in this addiction, this approval addiction, where other people, the way they see me is how I see myself. That's the first one. Great. So are you ready to move to the next one? This one hurts, eh? This belief hurts us so much in the workplace, in business, in our relationships. We are suffering when we are not aware of this background program that's running. It's draining the system, this program that runs in the background. The second one, equal to this one that follows, is the belief that criticism equals rejection or humiliation. When someone criticizes me, when they criticize me, then I am being rejected by that individual, and that person is then trying to humiliate me. You see, this belief system it's learned early in life where feedback wasn't constructive at a crucial stage of your upbringing, but it was all punitive, being teased, mocked. Now what happens? It's a wound. So every critique now feels like a personal attack. That pain point causes us to filter all criticism through as rejection. But as you know, according to the formula that I've said before, no one can reject you as an adult. You are only rejecting yourself because of this pain point. I feel the rejection, I experience the pain because of my low self-esteem in that area. Nobody's rejecting me. A person with a good, strong self-esteem cannot experience rejection at all. But now with my hypersensitivity, where my self-esteem feels low, I will perceive it as rejection. I will even see it as humiliation. When the person criticizes me, I will then say the person is humiliating me. You are embarrassing me in front of everybody. But the embarrassment actually stems back from our own painful past experiences of belief systems that we are still clinging onto. And when somebody comes and it pops up in the form of a criticism, then it hurts. And it suddenly comes unexpectedly, and then we are shying away. This is also one of the belief systems, by the way, that prevent many people from public speaking. When I coach people with public speaking, the first thing I want to help you is to expose all your limiting belief systems that you are clinging onto. Like, people will laugh at me, people will make a joke at me, and criticism then is perceived as humiliation. And that is a big obstacle in our lives. So, can you see how we are working tonight to build resilience, to build emotional resilience, so that other people's opinions won't hurt you any longer? And then we grow from strength to strength as we are able to identify this harmful belief system of criticism that equals rejection or humiliation. But that's not all, my friend, ladies and gentlemen, people of South Africa. The third one is, if I'm not perfect, I will be exposed. The imposter syndrome. People will catch me out. They will expose me as a fake, as a fraud. They will see right through me that I'm shaking, that I'm insecure. People can read me. You see, one small mistake I make is then a proof that I am a fraud. So what happens when people start criticizing me and this belief system is running at the background? I'm going to try my best to be a people pleaser. I'm going to try my best to deliver it perfectly, spotless, even if I have to actually work through the night, hurt myself, because it must be perfect. But I'm hiding my insecurity here, that they won't see my real pain that I'm hiding, and that's enormous energy I'm putting out. Enormous energy I'm putting out. And this individual then is suffering from this heavy load to be pretending. I have to be perfect, otherwise I will be exposed. Mistakes are not allowed in my world. I am not allowed to make mistakes, and if I will make mistakes, see, I'm not allowed is not I'm not allowing myself to make the mistake. That's where the problem is. Right? So this is the third one. I must be perfect, otherwise I will be exposed. To be aware of these perfectionistic belief systems and where it comes from, to link it with certain memory experiences as a child, where you felt it, to bring it to the surface of memory, the level of consciousness, is the start of your healing journey. That's how powerful it is. How wonderful it is to realize, but I am not perfect. I will never be perfect. To try to be perfect is such an unreasonable demand I put on myself. But we often don't do it consciously. It's a subconscious programming that's running in the background, and then we catch ourselves the next moment, the next morning. We've been working right through the night. We've been ignoring our own pain. We've been ignoring our own needs, because the drive towards perfectionism dulls the pain, numbs the pain, but eventually it will catch up on us. You get it? So that was the third one of perfectionistic thought patterns that we have. So let's have a look at the next one. The next one that we are also suffering from following the perfectionistic belief system is that I need to defend myself the whole time. So some of us, when people criticize us, we immediately go on the defense mode. Because if we don't do it, we believe we'll be destroyed. We'll be exposed as a fake, as a fraud. So what we do when people criticize us, we just absorb. And now we go further than absorption. We go and attack. We defend ourselves at all costs. And that is so draining. Because the nervous system remembers a time in our lives when being silent meant defeat. You have to shut up and suffer in silence. Children should be seen and not heard. You've been told that once upon a time. And now, as an adult, what do? We keep on defending ourselves. We keep on, many times, even apologizing for things that we're not even wrong. But we keep on saying sorry, sorry, sorry. Or the other way, we just keep on defending ourselves why we are late, why we couldn't work right through the night, why there was just one flaw there. And then we beat ourselves up and we keep on defending ourselves. How nice would it be if you and I can come to a point in our lives when people criticize us, just to acknowledge it. Just to acknowledge it. We don't always have to defend ourselves. I've seen it on social media. People who are very professional on social media, they don't defend themselves when they are being criticized, when they've been name-shamed or body-shamed, or any kind of criticism that many people have to endure. They don't take it personal. They ignore it. They've learned the hard way not to defend themselves. But those with poor self-esteem, they retaliate. They believe that that person's opinion will tarnish their record. Their perception of themselves is reflected through the opinion of the person who criticizes. And that's where the wonderful realization comes that when people criticize me, when people say things that's nasty, I don't have to defend myself the whole time. Wisdom will tell you when is the right time to stand up and correct their facts, perhaps. But in a heated moment, it's not necessary to do it. In a heated moment, it's better to take a deep breath, get back into the moment, and focus on what the right thing is to say right now. Now, that was the fourth belief system that's causing people to take things very personal. So let's move on to the fifth one. The fifth belief system that runs at the background is I must always be composed, strong, and flawless. I must always be in control of everything. So now what we do, we deny our emotions. We don't validate our experiences, what we're going through. You see, a belief rooted in toxic performance identity is what we see here. A toxic performance identity. A TPI, toxic performance identity, where we believe that being vulnerable is weak or unprofessional, where we believe that it's unprofessional to say I feel. So therefore, in the workplace, I will not show emotions. Hello, you're not a computer in the workplace. You're a human being still in the workplace operating. So that's why it's important to become aware of TPI, toxic performance identity, that can really hamper us and can cause eventually a lot of strain in the gastric system, and that can cause us eventually to have a lot of chronic pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, headaches, because of this toxic performance identity. And we keep on popping pills, headache, painkillers, analgesics, but next hour or two the pain is back, because the root problem is still TPI, toxic performance identity. And that identity that we are living, that false identity, is causing a lot of emotional pain, of anxiety. We are still talking after many episodes about the roots of our anxiety. And here is another anxiety-based belief system that we so eagerly cling onto. Is there some of you that's agreeing? Yeah, I see some of you saying tonight's me. Well, that's what we are here for. We are learning. It's a slow journey to learn to acknowledge it. And by the way, Ilani, as you say, it's me, is to acknowledge it. It's very powerful when we acknowledge it, because that's the first step towards our healing. To make it more practical, here are some common scenarios that trigger this condition. Like when a boss questions your presentation in a meeting, especially in front of everybody. This is where this skill is highly applicable. Or a social media comment where someone criticizes your body, your voice, or your opinions. There are some people that do not always agree with what I'm saying. They haven't been on this program since the beginning, so they just watch it for a minute and then they make an opinion out of context and then they say they disagree. How on earth is it possible to disagree with me if you haven't been walking this journey here with us? I think it's now tonight the 27th episode. But you get it. I accept it. I understand it's happening. But you see, you get it. We all are here on social media tonight. So any of us can get an attack. And I think most of us have had experiences on social media of attacks. And I know some of you decided to leave the one platform and go over to the other platform, or actually totally go away from social media because the assault and the verbal attacks just carried on. But let's see tonight if we can't really strengthen our resilience with these skills that we can build to strengthen ourselves. Okay, that's social media. But what about someone close to you, a loved one who gives you negative feedback during a vulnerable share, something very personal you share with your sibling or your parent, and then the next moment they invalidate or judge you for what you've just shared now in secrecy with that person. Now it's all out, and the person is not on your wavelength, not on your frequency. And you experience the criticism. Here's another one. This is a heavy one. Someone who aggressively challenges your competence or ideas in public. Often, this is someone who doesn't really know you personally. unless it's a narcissistic personality type who have studied your vulnerability, and then, of course, they will try to humiliate you in front of everybody. But otherwise, the last one is more applicable to people who do not know you, who want to take you on. But somehow, for some other reason, the opinion of that stranger, of that other driver, of the other pedestrian, of the unknown person, the faceless individual on social media, it hurts. We are offended by it. And tonight, so far, when we looked at the 5 belief systems, now you know why. And after tonight, ladies and gentlemen, if it still hurts, go back to these 5 belief systems and see, identify your background programming, how it works in your life, and assign it to a memory experience of your childhood perhaps. You see, each of these trigger points, they create a fast track. Immediately, within a quarter of a second, you are in a fight mode, in a flight mode, freeze, or fawn. I'll go into more detail now about fawning. Because the perceived attack that we get, it feels like a threat to our self-worth, our identity, and our safety. It will only feel like a threat when it's vulnerable inside of us. You get it? It only feels a threat when it's vulnerable to us. Right? So you can see how relevant it is when we experience this criticism from others. And maybe it will be good if anyone would like to add another example, because I want you to be practical. Think in your life, think tonight, think tomorrow. That's why many of you don't like Monday mornings, because there's a staff meeting, there's a board meeting, and there's going to be criticism. Maybe that's good that you are here tonight to prepare yourself mentally by becoming aware of the programming. That's why you're anxious on a Monday morning many times, because there's a programming running in the background causing you to be afraid to be in that meeting. Because you say, I know what is coming. Right? Now, how do we deal with it? How do we deal with it? You see, when the nervous system perceives that social threat that we are getting, it instantly reacts as if it's life-threatening. And this is where your hypersensitivity takes over. You see what happens in the body? There's heart racing, your voice starts to shake, your thoughts are racing, intrusive thoughts are entering your mind at a speed that you're not even able to identify it, and you start feeling the anxiety. And now you go into that mode of the need to defend yourself. And your gut starts to contract or drop even, because there's a somatic memory of shame or fear that's now kicking in. You see, here's the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Let me show you. With the fight mode, we snap back or become sarcastic when someone criticizes us. You stick out your tongue. In the traffic, you show them a sarcastic sign. And that's fight. Sarcasm is also a form of anger, by the way. So it's just a disguised form of anger when we act with sarcasm. Then we freeze by going blank and we can't speak. Some of us in that state, when we got criticized, you go into a numbing state. But afterwards, you can easily say, I should have done that and that. I've got that and that in my mind that I want to tell the person. But that's too late. That's afterwards. Now, many of us who are people pleasers, we fawn. Fawn means we comply. We comply. It's like a little goat. A baby goat is a fawn. We go into that child mode to over-explain or apologize for existing. And we just stand back the whole time, allow people to walk over us and get away with it. And then you get the flight mode. We avoid the situation in future. We keep on avoiding. We don't go to the board meeting. We make excuses to go to that meeting. We're just backing down, backing off the whole time into the flight mode. But that also creates a lot of anxiety, because sooner or later you're going to have to face it. You're going to have to face it. So, when we stay silent, initially as a child, when you stayed silent, it prevents the next beating. Cornelia, as you said, when we stayed silent as a child, it prevents the next beating. Now, as an adult, the pendulum will either swing to also flight or fight. Now we've got anger management issues because nobody will beat me again, ever again. So now I'm overcompensating. I go into the fight mode. I have got anger management issues because I had to suppress my emotions for years and years because of the beating up, and I had to keep quiet. When I stop crying, when I stop resisting, the punishment will be over, the beating will stop. And now it happens because the more we cry, the more we retaliate, or when the person is abusing us, the more anger it provokes. Now, as an adult, we are still trapped in that loop by any of these four: fight, freeze, fawn, or flight. I want you to remember, make the connection. What is your typical response? And you see, I'm glad, Cornelia, that you just gave us that wonderful example here tonight on the group. To stay silently prevents the next beating until one day it doesn't. Then you change to hyper defensive. If you are the biggest bully in the room, then you're safe from hurt. So true. So the bully goes into the fight mode. The one being bullied becomes eventually the bully. It's all based on the experiences, how we've been conditioned, how the program runs in the background, and we are trapped in this emotional loop, and we don't change. We are stuck then. I hope it's helping you tonight to expose these belief systems, how the belief systems is actually keeping in this emotional loop here. I want you to recognize it. So, thanks, Cornelia, for sharing that example. That's so relevant to look at your scenario that you've sketched there, that I've just read for those of you who didn't read it, especially for those on the other platforms. Here you see it's a programming that's kicking in there, and people are then absolutely stuck in that loop. I just want to check here on YouTube. Okay, nobody's sharing. Okay, welcome everybody on YouTube as well. I just want to check there. I don't want to exclude anyone from YouTube. But thanks for your examples here that you are sharing. This is real stuff, eh? This is real stuff that we're experiencing. And that's why many people don't change. They keep on retaliating and responding exactly the same time. The problem is why they don't change. It doesn't happen every day. There are many days that nothing is wrong. It's like this toothache that Wally referred to. It's been warning me for a long time, but then it comes and it goes because I don't like the dentist. You see, that's my problem. I've got a memory when I was 4 years old. I saw this long syringe and the doctor looked at me. He was smiling, but as a little boy, it looked like he's a sadistic person, but he was smiling. But in my eyes, he looked like a monster. So the next moment, when he looked behind himself, I was out of his room. I was running in the street, and the doctor caught me in the middle of Voortrekker Street in Belleville. He caught me there, and he picked me up, and he dragged me into the consulting room, and Zap gave me the injection. The next time they gave me this laughing gas thing. So that also had an adverse effect on me. So now, 61, I need to go to the dentist this week, and all of those memories of my childhood is coming back. Maybe you all can also relate to it. Now, this is a funny example, but this is how it happens. There's a program running in here. So I had to use this scenario in my own life this weekend. Actually, it started on Thursday, Friday, the pain started. So this is a typical example of how the programming works. 60 years later, 58 years later, the program is still running at the background. And I'm still scared of a dentist. Really? Based on belief systems. And that's why we get cold sweat and anxiety. But this is exactly how trauma also works in other areas of our lives. And then there's, in my case, I ran away out of the doctor's room. It was flight for me. The next time when they gave me the laughing gas, I thought that I was kicking and was using my fist and everything, because now I remember the previous time. But it was all in vain, because they really pulled me against the chair. And from that moment on, when my dad used to take me, those days when I still had hair, to the barber shop, I had the same experience, fear of going to a place where the adult is, where I need to sit in a chair. Because what is this person going to do? The previous time it was in a syringe. This time it's a scissor coming towards me. And this little boy had so many fears at that stage. Right. So now you can understand why I don't have hair anymore. It really get my hare weggeskrik. Right. So, yeah, true what you say there is the memory programming. This is so true. And that memory programming goes and sit in the body. Trauma goes and sit in the body. And after so many years, it just then repeats itself over and over until we can come to the level of consciousness and expose the memories and to connect it with the embedded belief systems that we are having in our lives. And this is how we can be free, how the mind, with the right emotions, can cause and bring healing to ourselves. Yes, Maria, in a flight again, and it's unfair towards my partner. Yes, just to acknowledge it where it comes from, makes it so more bearable. To understand it's not the situation that's causing us to behave in this way. The situation is just a trigger of the memory experience where it comes from. Yes, Leonie, hello. Yes, for years my defense was denial, and I realized last week that denial is still my defense and is causing severe illness. I believe if you can deal with this, you can really add so much quality towards your life. Our sickness in our bodies often is just a response of years and decades of being the fight, flight, freeze mode. If cortisol has just been released, secreted over and over due to overexposure, due to trauma, over and over for decades, there are so many conditions, so many of the autoimmune diseases that we know of has got to do with the autoimmune system being overexposure towards adrenaline and cortisol, and then the body can't take it anymore. And now we come to a point in our lives where we learn to be so gentle with ourselves, to be utterly gentle with ourselves and show deep self compassion with ourselves. But it's more about taking a bubble bath. It's about this, the belief systems that we have to change. How do we do it? How do we break this emotional loop? Now, this is what we are here for tonight. You're going to have to learn to reframe that criticism as neutral feedback in your life. You need to learn to understand that all events are actually neutral. The interpretation makes it subjective. I saw the smiling eyes of the barber as a sadistic attempt. It was interpreted in that way. Because not every challenging comment is a personal attack. I need to practice saying this is about their opinion, their perception. It does not define me. What they say about me is not true. I need to reframe it. Reframing means I need to take the same situation and change the words and look at a different angle at the same situation. Yes, Asina, it's true that even skin conditions can have a severe impact on this kind of responses. I've seen it with people, and the body keeps on complaining and telling you there's a belief system that is feeding the emotion, and the emotion in return is sending a signal to the body. That's how it works. And we can handle it, it can go into remission if we understand how the formula works. You have to go back to the previous sessions and look at how emotions can heal. If emotions can kill us, emotions can also heal us through the formula. Go and check there how the formula is working, the 8 components of the formula. Next week I will elaborate more on the formula. But there's a formula that we can use to get healed. Now, you're going to have to learn to reframe that criticism, that voice in your head, that inner critic that is now causing us to reject ourselves, and it carries on. So that reframing is necessary. In our coaching groups, you are anyone who's interested in our coaching mentoring group that runs on a Teams meeting Thursday evening, I've given you the notes there on the thread for tonight, here up in the first comment section. Please join if you want to, because there we take this into more detail. We practice the skills in more detail, where I teach people how to reframe criticism, how your pain becomes your gain. You are reframing it. You're going to have to reframe it. The criticism that I received from school when I was stuttering a bit as a child, when I went on courses about public speaking, now public speaking is my asset. I've learned to reframe it. What is it that you need to reframe? And if you can't reframe it alone, let someone help you, like a therapist, counselor. But many times it just takes a bit of thinking and journaling to see how you can reframe that criticism. But we're not done yet, there's more. You're going to have to disentangle identity from performance. You need to separate the two from each other. Identity and performance is not the same. Your performance may be judged by others, and let them do it. Let them take it as far as they want to take it. But they cannot take away your worth. They cannot take away your dignity when they judge you, when they criticize you. Your worth is not up for sale. Your worth is not up for debate. You get it? My performance may be judged, but my worth is not up for debate. And you can increase your worth. Because you are valuable because of who you are, not because of what you achieve. Not because of your performance. We live in a performance-oriented world where people want to do it. Let them carry on do it. If your contract is not renewed, if you are not being good enough to be in a relationship, according to that person, not attractive, whatever, your body is not the shape that I wanted, those kind of beliefs, it's their opinion. That does not equal towards your identity, unless you have made it your identity. Your looks, your IQ, your performance, your qualifications. I'm so and so, with my looks, I've seen people who are in the gym scene when they're on steroids, and when they get a heart attack because of the steroids, and now they have to stop using the steroids, then their self-esteem shrink, and shrink, because they've built their self-esteem on their body build. Over and over the years in the addiction scene where I've worked, I've seen it when people operate on vanity. You're going to have to separate the two from each other to get healed. You are valuable because of you as a person, not on your looks, qualifications, all the other attributes. Number 3, when it happens, we're going to have to practice pause, breathe, and anger. Before reacting, just ground yourself and become aware of the background programming you're already rehabilitating yourself from, and then you can let it go because it doesn't serve you anymore. Do the 4-7-8 breathing. Breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold for 7. Exhale for 8. Breathe in through your nostrils, and breathe out through your nostrils. This state will help you to return to your presence and short-circuit the survival loop, because the survival loop wants to go into fight, flight, fawn, or freeze. The pause, breathe, anchor skill can really help you. First, breathe, so that the new system that you're building, that it can kick in, you can change. You're going to have to turn it into a discipline, a new form of routine. Yep. You get it? We need to breathe more. When it happens, when it comes, not if it will come. Learn to breathe so that we can change the program. You see, we can practice now also confident boundaries in this case. Instead of defending ourselves or over-explaining, we can calmly say, "Thank you for your input. Thank you for your opinion. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. I'll take a moment to reflect on it. I'll get back to you." Or, "Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for your opinion. I have a different perspective on this. Thank you." No need to prove yourself. No need to retaliate. Sometimes I just say thank you. Sometimes I will just say, "Noted." You stand in your own inner authority. So you're going to have to practice these emotional, confident boundaries. So here it is. I gave you some examples of phrases that you can practice, especially with a person with narcissistic traits. All the narcissism feeds on your apologies or your explanations. They will feed on it and will perceive it as weakness. And they will absolutely thrive to crush you and destroy you. So you're going to have to practice these boundary words. Acknowledge it, say it, thank you for your opinion, and then let it go. Don't let it stay rent-free in your mind. But in the meantime, as you get back to your room, to your office, get out your journal, write down the trigger. Afterwards, you ask, what happened now? What exactly triggered me to feel so offended? What belief about myself did it threaten? One or more of these 5 mentioned tonight. Which of these beliefs are still running in the background? They are still stubbornly clinging on. What is it? What part of me needs healing or affirmation? That self-affirmation, self-soothing. And this is where we need to bring self-compassion into the wound. You remind yourself, I'm safe now. I am safe now. I am not the child of 20 or 30 years ago. You ground yourself in the present moment. This person here is not the bully from the past. The inner bully, the inner critic, I need to let go because you don't serve any purpose anymore. I'm letting you go because I don't need your assistance any longer. You see, being criticized by others or misunderstood doesn't mean you are wrong. You are entitled to your opinion. It doesn't mean you are unworthy. It simply means that you are human. Okay? Accept your human part. Being a human, accept it. You can't be perfect. I don't want to be perfect, by the way. See, the most powerful transformation begins not when others stop attacking us, but when we stop attacking ourselves. The others who attacked us happened many, many moons ago. But now the self-attack, we turn towards ourselves. And that's the problem with many of the autoimmune diseases. The body turns to itself. And even with cancer, the body turns to itself, against itself. How do we turn it around from a psychological and spiritual point of view? By being gentle and kind towards ourselves, connecting with your body, saying kind words to your body, and appreciate your body, and stop body shaming ourselves, and start identifying the words and the belief systems that it's kind towards ourselves. We need to rise above the noise, ladies and gentlemen, friends, colleagues, because your truth doesn't need to shout to be powerful. It just needs to be rooted. Your truth just needs to be rooted. It doesn't need to be shouted on from the rooftop to explain yourself. It's that still knowing that you know who you are. And that's the power of when we take back our authority. Does it make sense tonight? Did this session help you tonight? I'm so glad that you tuned in here tonight, because this show was for you, and maybe you need to share this with someone else who's still hypersensitive, or someone with whom you need to walk on eggshells due to their hypersensitivity. And that's why I say to you tonight, be aware of what's going on here. Be aware of the programming, that's still there when we have the undesirable emotions of taking offense. How do we take offense? Through fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. That's how we take offense. Still rooted in our experiences of pain from many moons ago. Exposing the belief systems, understanding the emotional loop is the key towards our healing. Thank you so much, everybody. It was good to have you on board here tonight. Thank you, everybody, for your wonderful comments here. I appreciate you. May it be a wonderful week for you. I'll see you next week. And same time, same face, same place, 6 o'clock. Have a blessed week. Thank you. God bless. Take care.